And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
Streak over Vandy. It's been a while. Last year, of course, a 7-point victory for the LSU Tigers over the Commodores. But 11 a.m., I've talked a lot about this, Mike. First of all, we're talking about changing your habits. And, oh, by the way, LSU is going to practice tomorrow and Friday at 11 o'clock. The problem you have on Saturday morning is you got to eat your pregame meal at 7 in the morning. You're on the road. You're going to see a lot of guys on the sidelines yawning. They got down 17-0 last year at Carolina when they kicked it off at 11. Caden Durham made the run, and they got their act together and came back and won 36-33. But big challenge, although I'm with you. I've got positive vibes, and I just feel like it's good to see finally the coaches wake up a little bit and utilize Trey Green. This is something that every media person has been talking about. Not that we know anything. We're not trying to coach, whoever said, but this was obvious. The dumbass that wanted Trey Green to block instead of catch now should have a big DA on his forehead. That being said, got to get people back involved. Barry Brown, he's from Nashville, Tennessee. You want to see him with his number 6. You want to see him get in the end zone. Aaron Anderson, been banged up, hadn't gotten the end zone yet. Chris Hilton, the drop C still. And, of course, that offensive line, we'll find out if Koenig is going to start at left guard. But Nussmeier, I'm here to tell you, my crystal ball, and we'll talk about it, but Nussmeier did meet with the media yesterday. And I think this is going to be an important game for Nuss to reestablish the rhythm, the identity, and more than anything, Mike, his confidence. If he goes and they start fast and they throw the football and they mix in and call the right plays, Nuss will have a big game, probably his best game, but you got to protect him and give him time.
All right, everybody. Sorry about that. I started the show with the mics muted, and then I handed off to Buddy, and I saw it, and we unmuted. All I said was it's a big show, and, of course, kickoff at 11, and a must-have win, a must-have game, must-win for LSU, and I think they will. I've got a good feeling about this game. 2.5-point underdog. I think I like LSU by double digits in this game. I think LSU scores 10 points or more, wins it by that many.
No, wait, no, you said they scored 10 points or more. I mean, look.
No, they win by 10 points.
Right, that's what I'm saying, which would be 20-something at least. By the way, a D lineman of Vandy gave bulletin board material, said we like what we see on tape, and we're going to try to pitch a shutout. Clark Lee is a very smart and
I like him.
Good football coach. In case you don't know about the coaching tree, Mike Elko was a DC at Notre Dame with Brian Kelly. He brings in and says, look, hire Clark Lee. He comes in as the linebacker coach 1 year in 18. Then Mike Elko gets the head job at Duke, and so Clark Lee is his DC for the next 3 years. And so there's a lot of familiarity, a lot of respect, a lot of friendship, a lot of love. But and he did beat Clark Lee in the only a game that they played against each other last year as head coaches. But, Mike, I got to tell you, this is the best Vanderbilt football team I've ever seen, and we've been watching them for a long time.
Look, you know,
they're solid, though. They're a solid football team.
Other than LSU being the opponent this weekend, and you know, you enjoy seeing programs like that have never had success have success. I mean, like we talked about on the post-game show, what Indiana is doing in Signetti and that job. I mean, that's exciting to see.
By the way, you heard the story on that?
What's that?
Mark Cuban is from Pennsylvania. So is Kurt Signetti. Mark Cuban went to Indiana, and about a week ago, Mark Cuban gave Indiana $50 million. So Kurt Signetti is not going anywhere.
No, look, why would you need to? He's 64 years old.
Is he that old?
He's set. Yeah,
Okay.
he's 64. Now you wouldn't. He's using the box of hair coloring, you know, so his hair is darker than mine, even though he's a little bit older.
Well, Saban has done that. I mean, you know, everybody does that. I'll color once or twice a year.
Yeah,
but I never show my hair.
Yeah.
By the way, Dr. John Sibley Butler says no sound. We got that. It's not the first time I've been muted.
Well, last week, someone said you look like you were broadcasting your show from a potato because we our Wi-Fi connection, internet connection wasn't that well. But then we start this week's show with no audio for.
Come on, Joe Sloan.
But that, yeah. Come on, Frank.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Fire 3449, hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We'll be here all the way till 7 o'clock. And he also asked, with all the coaches that have been fired, who's next? Napier, Fickle, or Norvell?
I'm going Billy Napier. If they lose this weekend to Mississippi State, they've got an open date. Then I looked at the rest of their schedule. It is murderer's row. We thought he'd get fired last year. You and I were both wrong on that. Thought he'd get fired this year. He still may get fired, but he did beat Texas. But if they lose at home to Mississippi State, there's going to be some boo birds, and he'll probably get
look
clipped.
at Fickle. Fickle, when BK got hired,
yeah,
he was on a list, my list.
He was
along with
coach.
Your guy at Miami,
all right, Mario Cristobal. You never know, folks. You never know.
No.
Nobody's been talking up Signetti, but he's done a fantastic job. Indiana's
Where's Tom Herman these days?
Hmm?
Where's Tom Herman these days? Do we know?
Tom Herman is irrelevant in college football.
Right. Remember how hot he was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's coaching anywhere. All right. Brad DeVee, do you think Vandy will be able to run the ball against LSU's defense?
Boy, I looked at the stats, Mike. They've got 19 rushing touchdowns. They're running it for over 200 yards a game. They're passing it for over 200 a game. This is going to be interesting. Great question, Brad. What's the front seven? I love what Blake Baker did last week.
I think they're going to get some, but I don't think they're going to have near the success they've been having.
Yeah, well, you got to tackle. You got to tackle and West Weeks and Halsey and Whit Weeks and Perkins. But my point is that please go after Diego Pavia same way you did with Sellers. That was a fantastic game plan. They were scared against Trinidad Chambliss, and so boy, put an over number on the two teams rushing.
It was shameless. They kept overrunning him.
Yeah, I know, but they still were not aggressive enough. They sat back and let him dictate. Get after Vandy. Diego Pavia is not a big guy, probably legitimate, like you talk about legitimate heights and weights. This guy's probably 5'10 and a half, 190 pounds, 195 pounds, but he's a baller and he makes everybody around him better.
Todd Davis, Mike and Buddy, I still can't believe we are underdogs to Vanderbilt.
Guy told me that out of church on Monday. He said, can you believe it, Bud, man? Do you ever remember LSU being an underdog to Vanderbilt? I said, no, I don't.
No.
So,
but again, good for them.
I was going to say, that's your tribute to Clark Lee and the job he's done over at Vandy. They're 5-1, in the country. And, of course, everybody knows BK is 5-1, and everybody knows they're 10 in both polls.
Carl the Cat done. Vanderbilt is a good team, but the Tigers will have to get right game Saturday. Tigers win by 2 scores. That's where I'm at. I think LSU wins by a minimum of 10 points.
You and Carl the Cat drinking out the same bottle this week.
Exactly.
Okay.
And by the way, he moved up in the rankings, didn't he?
I think Carl the Cat moved into number 19 on the high school officials. This is the first time Carl's ever made the top 20. So lift your water glass for Carl the Cat.
Of course, there's 21 referees in total in the Baton Rouge.
I think 25 this year.
Chase Michelle, love your show, Mike, from the 318 Pineville. Can this lethargic offense get going against Vanderbilt to make a playoff push? I think it can. Is it going to be a thing of beauty? I don't know that there's a thing of beauty coming from this LSU offense. I think it's going to be a combination of defense being stout and the offense doing just enough, and special teams continue to be really, really good. Just don't want Xavier Thomas any more snafus feeling behind the 10-yard line.
He got put in timeout on that. He didn't play much after that. He wanted to pull at Eddie Kennison, who Eddie many years ago fielded a punt, I think, against Mississippi State and backed up until the goal line and then took it 100 yards for a touchdown. But look, here's the offense in a nutshell, okay? First of all, we got to start with Nuss. You know, is his biorhythms going to be on? Is he going
Brian Smith asked you, is Nussmeier finally healthy? Go ahead.
Well, I don't know about that, but he seems like he's doing better. But look, this offense Saturday morning and the Saturday afternoon needs the best version of Garrett Nussmeier we've seen all year, and I think he's going to deliver. Now you get to the second caveat, the offensive line. Folks, LSU had 5 sacks on defense and didn't give up any. They've got a great rusher from the edge. Everybody knows about this kid from Carolina. They didn't give up any sacks, so that's positive. But Vandy and Clark Lee have a propensity to blitz. They have a propensity to disguise. Going to have to get rid of it quickly and in space. And I think that, we start talking about rhythm and consistency and then scoring touchdowns inside the red zone, calling better plays inside the 10 and the 5. And obviously, you got to make some big plays, Mike. I think it's ridiculous. Has LSU hooked up on a long pass yet this year, other than the Barry and Brown one against Clemson that was taken off the board? I don't remember a long vertical bomb yet. Do you?
No.
So you gotta hit on a couple of those.
But I like those for pass interference.
Yeah. But Vandy's secondary is susceptible to the deep ball.
I want 3 or 4 balls thrown to Chris Hilton deep.
Well,
whether they're successful or not, I think you're going to get at least 1 PI game.
Well, and I want Barry and Brown to get more balls and more.
But if you're Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp, you're just like, man, what are we doing? Why did we leave Oklahoma for this?
Well, they thought they would get to football more.
Right.
And speaking of that, they're going to double Tre'Davious.
Of course, for more money.
Yeah, but they're going to chip and shade on Tre'Davious Green.
How many of these wide receivers that have eligibility left are going to get in the portal because they're just fed up?
I don't know, but I'm just going to tell you, they're going to double Tre'Davious Green at times. Bauer Sharp's going to be open. Hilton's going to be open. Barry and Brown's going to be open. And can we get number 1, Aaron Anderson, in the end zone yet? It's freaking me out that he hadn't scored. So distribute the football. And let's be honest, Nuss said this, and everybody has pointed the finger at him. He can't have that WTF-INT where, and I'm not going to simulate like I did last time.
And that's the thing that we talked about all off season, that would he cut those? Would he had a dozen last year? We said he'd cut them in half.
They're already at 5 right now,
yeah.
INTs. So I'm looking for Nuss to be, if Nuss can be clean and throw the football and they catch it, there's been some drops. Oh, by the way, one other guy, let's not sleep on Kyle Parker. I think Kyle Parker is a guy that's been waiting for the time. You just saw what he did. Feed Kyle Parker 5 or 6 balls, at least targets this weekend, please.
Yeah. And I don't want to see another Juwan Johnson fumble.
That's 2 inside the 10. I like what he does, but ball security. The old days, when you'd fumble, you'd go to the back of the line and not play for a game or 2.
But here's the thing. Caleb Jackson did that. He's done.
Yeah, right.
All right. Juwan Johnson gets a little bit of leeway because he's new to the position. But at some point, you're going to be like, okay, enough already.
Can't turn it over 3 times.
And I love him.
Vandy.
I mean, I love the kid.
Cannot have 3 turnovers and beat Vandy.
You cannot put the ball on the ground.
No.
All right, let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you have it, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait. You're going to get TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value. And of course, any commercial or residential roofing needs that you have, new location here in Baton Rouge, main office in Hammond, Homa, the North Shore, real big, Thibodeau, anywhere you need a roof in Southeast Louisiana, Baton Rouge area, they've got you covered. And they've got more Pride roofing franchises available throughout the state of Louisiana. And Mike and Alex are absolutely killing it in the roofing game right now. And as always, if you've got another company's bid on their letterhead with their logo on it, they will beat it by $150. And there's a good chance they've got the shingles that you want in stock, and you're not going to be waiting to get your new roof installed.
I tried to tell people the Pride was going to come back with the defense. LSU giving up under 300 yards a game and also about 11.8 points a game. So I think everybody's happy with that. The Pride of the LSU defense is back. You'll have great pride if you deal with Mike and Alex. They are fantastic people to deal with. They deliver what they tell you. Everybody knows in the metal roofs business, they bought and acquired Crown Metals, changed the metal roofing business. Always a free roofing inspection, 1-855-PRIDE-16. Tell them Mike and Buddy sent you over, and you will enjoy doing business. They also sharpen the pencil, and that means they will do that competitive deal and beat anybody out there. All we ask is an opportunity, folks, 1-855-PRIDE-16.
Kelly Watley, great show, Mike and Buddy. Thank you, Kelly. And Dr. John Sibley Butler says the Tigers practice at 9 a.m. during camp. Young guys will be ready to go. I will agree with something that Nussmeier said, they like, I think sometimes getting on the road is good for the team. And it really does help with the focus. Zach Nagy says, two most handsome men in the business with all due respect. All right, Zach, thank you for that.
Zach, we'll have Zach on tomorrow. And look, Zach is getting married, and I had to give him a little bit of wisdom, not on the marriage, but just.
Have you seen her? He really outkicked his coverage.
Well, there's no doubt he outkicked his coverage. All you guys in the media, you outkicked your coverage. Cobble's outkicked his coverage. Jacques outkicked his coverage. Everybody. Preston, for sure, has outkicked his coverage. But I had to sit him down and say, I put my arm around him. I said, I just want to make sure one thing. You can continue to come on the show if one thing happens. What's that? Don't get married in football season. At least he's smart enough to know that.
Yeah.
There are 2 open dates. If you're going to have a fall wedding, you got 2 open dates now.
So you need to tune in tomorrow. You can catch Buddy's show. Go to the either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Download the Pelican Sports app, and from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, Buddy shows live. He'll have Zach on tomorrow. I've been in my same Wednesday spot since the early 90s, and great guests always on Buddy's show. Once you load the app on your phone, you'll see the front page of it, and it'll have either the TV version or the radio. Click the radio version. You'll be able to stream it. You can Bluetooth it through your radio in your car. But that's how you listen to Buddy's show from 1 to 3 every Monday through Friday.
And the link is also on TigerBait.com.
Yeah, it's on our message board. Let's see. Spectrum Well Care, he says, I hope BK has the play sheet in his hands this game.
I am so glad. I was waiting for somebody to bring that up. I'm not social media savvy, but people are telling me and blowing my phone up. You saw what Scar did during the game? What? He's got a picture, and then you have about 10 or 15 or 20 seconds with BK with the play sheet on the headset and pretty much screaming and a lot of spicy talk. And so let's address this because nobody else has done that in the media this week. We know that Joe Sloan actually calls the plays. The difference is that is BK at some point telling him what play to call, and then what is the conversation before the week with the game plan. So what did you take from what you saw?
I mean, if you ask BK the question, would he be honest? Would he say, last week I probably altered 8 plays? I mean, would he admit it?
No.
I
don't think he would.
He might.
If I can get over there in this traffic for 4:45 tomorrow.
By the way, he has admitted before where he'll say in the headset, I want to run here, or I want this.
But that's what I'm talking about.
That doesn't mean he's calling the play.
That's exactly. I'm glad you had that differentiation because he might say, we want to run it here, we want to throw it here, and then Joe makes
and that's his prerogative.
But look, as long as they all realize that we never see that 2-point play again, that was the worst 2-point play ever. But let's talk about the run game. I got to ask you, what was the big difference with LSU running for 165 plus yards? Was it them getting better on the O-line, Cohen Eccles helping, or South Carolina's run defense appreciably worse than Florida, Clemson, and the others?
Could it be all of that? Could it be a couple of those Nuss runs?
Nuss actually had 30 rushing yards in that game.
Could it be?
Of course, he didn't get sacked.
Could it be the right combination of keeping them off balance and the right play call at the right time? I don't know, but hopefully they build upon it.
Caden Durham had a couple of big runs. He's so close, Mike, from breaking a big one. They're tackling him and getting him with the ankle or whatever. He's so close. Jawan Johnson, after the fumble, did have the 56-yarder. This is one of the things that grates on people and grates on me as well. Harlan Berry ran like about out of hell at the end of that game against Ole Miss and got in the end zone, and yet they don't sometimes. I don't know if Harlan Berry got enough look-see last week. I still think number 22, Harlan Berry, would be great just catching the swing pass out the backfield. We'll see with the running back rotation. And let's go over and under, me and you. Xavier Thomas, how many runs this weekend?
4.
I'm going to go 3. So 3 or 4 runs from Xavier Thomas. We'll see. But if LSU can run the football against Vandy for what, Mike, 140 yards, you happy with that number?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got to pass it for, LSU did get over 400 yards last week. That's the first time in an SEC game. Oh, by the way, they scored 20, 19, and 20 in 3 SEC games. So you're averaging.
They just need to be really successful on first down. Don't be in these. It's good when you can get 5-6 yards on first down, and then you can go for something big on second down. Just don't be in 3rd and 8 and 9 all the time.
But let's address the question that was asked. How much involved and how much would he tell us involvement of the actual play calling during the game? Because it happens so fast.
He might admit it. He might tell you.
It's happened so fast.
He'll answer questions sometimes.
Yeah, he'll answer some of mine.
Yeah, Dane Bergeron, buddy, that South Carolina quarterback was a load to bring down. The Tiger defense will make Pavia cry.
Well, they got after Sellers, and I loved all those guys getting after people. Dane, I'd love to talk about that and tell you that you were right next week. But this kid, he's not the biggest of guys, but he's like that guy on the corner, and you say, "Oh, that little guy." And all of a sudden, you come out and he just plays over his head, and he makes everybody better. Pavia is going to come to the line of scrimmage. You're going to make a decision whether you tackle him or guard. As soon as you come up to tackle him, he's going to dump it. And oh, by the way, Eli Stowers is their tight end. LSU for years has had trouble covering the tight end out that delay or that drag. Weeks and those guys got to do a better job with eye discipline. You got your eyes on Landry Kiffin. Have your eyes on Eli Stowers this weekend, Saturday afternoon.
Stephen Miller at Mike, tell me, what has Vandy really done this year to warrant all this hype outside of the National Love Fest of Pavia? I think it's a combination of what they did last year and what they've done this year. They're well coached. You got a quarterback. You got a team that believes. Now, is there a chance that 2.5 line from Vegas is a sucker bet? I think there's a chance. Don't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, they beat Alabama last year when Alabama was number 1. They beat them 41-35. Nobody's ever heard of that. They did knock out Lenore Sellers. The kid that knocked him out got called for targeting, so he got tossed. But they knocked him out the game. They beat Carolina 31-7. They played with Alabama until they got wore down in the second half with their defense. But they're just a good, solid. Football team, and Clark Lee is a good, solid coach. And lo and behold,
you better respect them.
Yeah,
don't disrespect this Vanderbilt team.
By the way, it is a sellout. If you're a Tiger fan, you're probably going to have to pay a scalper's price. I wonder how many Tiger fans are making that road trip.
By the way, let us know what the going rate is for those on StubHub. All right. Alumni Hall, everybody. We talk about them each and every week, and it's the best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. They've got the all the new Nike gear, Champion, Johnny O, On Reserve, Peter Millar, and much more. All the stuff for fall, winter is in, the quarter zip polos, the hoodies, the jackets. They've got all the they got all the nice stuff that the coaches wear, other than that ugly shirt BK wears every week.
Oh man, that off purple.
God, it's ugly. They need to go ahead and just burn that.
I'll tell him he said that tomorrow.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give you this discount code that I share with all my friends and subscribers. So when you shop, use the code TigerBait, all one word. Every time you go to Alumni Hall, if you're buying just the face paint one day and you're going back for a hat 2 weeks later, you can use the code TigerBait every time you go to that register, and you're going to get 10% off. Or if you're shopping online, use it in the box at checkout, the promo code TigerBait, and you're going to save. You're going to get free shipping on all orders of $99. And again, the great thing about doing your LSU gear business with Alumni Hall is that it's all shipped from Baton Rouge. You're going to get it in a hurry. So it's not coming from a warehouse from the Northeast. You're going to get it in a day or two because it ships from the Baton Rouge store.
Look, it's a good question. Vandy beat Charleston Southern, beat Virginia Tech, beat South Carolina, knocking out Sellers, and then beat Georgia State and Utah State, and then played tough with Alabama and succumbed with a double-digit loss as they got tired. But I understand what the viewer and watcher was talking about. They don't have a statement win, but you know this.
They did last year.
And when they did last year when they beat Bama, but if they beat LSU Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, by the way, Mike's tickled pink. He's going to have a post-game show in the afternoon on Saturday.
That'll be our most viewed post-game show ever if they lose that game.
But if they lose that game, it'll be the talk of the country. They will be propping that up with Clark Lee is better than BK, just like, what's that coach's name in South Bend? Oh, Marcus Freeman. Yeah. He's already been crowned as better.
Yeah, but right now they're a playoff team.
Who?
Notre Dame.
Well, they got 2 losses. They got to win out.
But look what they got to win out with.
Yeah.
Look at their schedule. It's pathetic.
I asked Mike today earlier before the show if LSU was a playoff team, and he gave me his best Jim Mora. Remember the old man, Jim Mora? Playoffs. So they've got to win these next 2 games. You said it perfectly. If they beat Vandy, then all of a sudden you've got a fired up crowd with LSU 6-1 and A&M undefeated, unless they lose at Arkansas this weekend. And that place.
What's the latest on Le'Veon Moss? Do we have an update on his injury?
I heard he's out, but game time decision next week.
Yep. All right. Need to talk about Stroube's, everybody. Your premier seafood and steakhouse. They give you a 5-star dining experience. Get over to 107 3rd Street downtown. And again, USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And our buddy Kenny Haynes is going to be dining there with his group of friends later this week. And they get a great meal every time they go there. They've got the dry aged pork chop, black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, duck Louisiana, and steak Diane. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com. And please let them know that TigerBait sent you in, one of our great sponsors. And Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs might be, Dykes is wired for success. Need a brand new 10-story office building? They can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built? They can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle, they can wire all of that, including old lining in your home or office. They could do it all. That's why you need to give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Huge LSU fans at Dykes Electrical, one of your great Baton Rouge area owned and operated companies. And that's why you want to do business with fellow LSU fans and supporters like yourselves. All right, let's see what we got here. Dane Bergeron says Nussmeier needs to heal between his ears. I'll agree with a lot of that.
It's confidence, Mike. You know that. It doesn't matter what you do. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier threw for 4,000 yards. You know he's got at the half point. He don't even have 1,500 yards. He's at 14-something. 9 touchdowns, 5 INTs. This dumbass right here, buddy, predicted that he'd throw 33 touchdowns with 9 INTs. Got a long way to go for me to get close to that prediction.
Look, we knew the offensive line had issues in August. But I don't think we ever could imagine that the offense was going to look like this for this long of the year. No way.
And it's
Nobody in the media.
It's a combination of everything. It's play calling, execution, drops. And for the life of me, you finally started to see it. I know you and Brad Davis don't fry fish on Friday night, but they finally started pulling some people. They finally started to strike some people. And you talk to a lot of O-line coaches. The last thing you want to do is just stand up and make yourself high. You want to charge off and knock the crap out of that guy, and then you want to talk crap to him. I mean, they got to get mean, ugly, and spicy on the offensive line and
by the way,
physicality.
By the way, I believe they're all strong. I think they all did the work. None of them are overweight guys. Okay. And I believe Brian Kelly when he talks about the measurements and what they do in the weight room. I think it's all technique. It's all the technique.
And that's all about pad level.
Or lack of.
Get low and explode on people. Vandy's very solid. They're not going to beat themselves. But I liked finally seeing some physicality and some pulling and some things that they did on the offensive line.
Kelly Watley says, is it more, Mike, is it more O-line or Brad Davis? What's your opinion? Look, when you've had this for 4 years and you've had multiple first-round draft picks and other draft picks, and you have not had an above-average offensive line since you've been here, to say nothing of all the sins of that O-line that Jaden Daniels covered up for you with his wheels. Enough is enough because the players are there. When you got that many guys in the building that were recruited by everybody you're supposed to beat out for recruits, that had options to go to some really nice schools that win a lot of football games, but they're here. If it's not one guy that's starting this week, then believe me, there's somebody else there that can do it. I think it's time for a change there. I'm sorry.
Weston Davis is a 5-star.
And I'll say that if they go 10-2 the rest of the way. I still believe that.
Okay. Weston Davis is a 5-star. Carius Kern's a 5-star. A lot of these guys were 4-stars. And so the biggest problem is not recruiting them and getting them here. It's getting on the same page with everybody. Frank with the running backs. Of course, your wide receiver guy, who we know Hankton's done a great job. By the way, Cortez Hankton is probably still the best coach with a vertical. You see how high he gets in the air after he's head bumping and fisting and pumping and everybody after a touchdown. Guy could probably still run 4 or 5 and catch one. But
I'd like to see who could win.
Got to get on the same page.
I'd like to know who's more in better shape, him or Blake Baker, and who could win in the 40. My money might be on Baker.
I know this. Blake Baker still wears those cleats to practice, and I loved getting after Sellers.
Blake Baker, I'll watch him run out of the tunnel. He's so light on his feet. I mean, he stays in shape.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, Hankton's always been in shape.
Yeah. But so let's give them something to celebrate. But I think it's a total effort of getting everybody on the same page, calling the right plays, and then we got to put a little onus on the players. You know, they've got to execute it. They've got to make the plays. There's been drops, there's been penalties, whatever. It's time for the guys on offense to get their act together and start to look like a top 10 football team.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Run the old Southern Cal student body right play to get some blockers out there for Durham or Barry. You know, we see them using a little fullback type action. You know, kind of been wondering when that was going to get tried, right?
Yeah, but I got to talk about the first play of the game. You remember what they did?
Go ahead.
Nuss got underneath center, handed off, 3-yard loss.
Yeah.
So, look, we know Pyburn was a great guy to come in. They had Pyburn and Bauer Sharp on that long run against Florida, if you remember. But I don't care what you call. You just have got to, and let's be honest, Caden Durham and the running backs got to do a little bit better with their vision. Run the daylight, not darkness.
Thanks, Dane. Brad David, Mike, UCLA is the perfect example of how important coaching is. Sloan and Davis are not putting the players in the position to succeed. It's one of those deals where we're having some of the same things that we're talking about now that we talked about during the Les Miles era. Who's calling the plays? Is there meddling? Who's intervening? Whose fault is it? Man, if you put together a pie chart of whose fault it is, you'd have a nice little wedge for Nussmeier. You got a big wedge for Brad Davis. You got a wedge for Frank in running back rotation and lack of true running backs because of recruiting, and maybe he should have taken one in the portal. You got another one for Cortez Hankton and wide receiver groupings and too much substituting.
And then BK,
a little sliver for BK.
BK's got to be in there as well. Look, if I get over there,
I'm going to give the biggest part of the pie chart like this for Brad Davis.
I know. Like I said, I'm going to see if you guys can fry some fish on a Friday night. But look, I understand your point. It'd be interesting to see if they could have a back-to-back week running the football successfully.
Yep. Travis Wilburn, Hankton is the best coach on offense. Sloan is a great quarterback coach, but shaky as an OC. I like both of them, but until the last few weeks, Hankton was kind of was pretty unscathed as far as criticism. But yeah.
Well, BK got on him because there was a couple of weeks where the wide receivers were making some faux pas. You cannot come in motion and go forward. This is not the Canadian League. If you go in motion, you've got to continue to be going parallel. If you go turn forward, that's going to be a penalty. And there were a couple times, remember, when they didn't line up right and you had 5 men. You got 5 men in the backfield. This guy's not lining right. And so BK got on him. But Hankton.
I think it's because you're playing too many people.
Well, but see, that's where we disagree. All those guys that we saw, if you can't getting $10 million a year, and this staff, no telling what this staff makes. If you can't utilize all your talent and you got to dumb it down, then I got a problem with the players. I got a real problem. At this point, Nick Anderson ought to know what's going on, just like all of them. And you still hadn't got Aaron Anderson in the end zone. Can we see number 1 score on Saturday? Can we? That's all I'm asking.
Well, what is he listed at now? Probable?
We'll get an update tomorrow, but yeah, I think that's
or is it tonight? Didn't it come out tonight?
Well, he always gives another one at Thursday and right before the game. Barry and Brown, folks, he's gonna be waving bye-bye to some of those DBs if you get him the ball down the field.
Yeah,
he can flat out fly.
Travis Wilburn says there's chatter that Carius Kern doesn't know the playbook. I imagine he's not there yet. I got people asking me, where's Solomon Thomas? If Carius Kern can't get out there or any of the guys that were midterm enrollees, no way Solomon Thomas, who showed up in June, has been hurt.
And he's been hurt.
That's an automatic red shirt. Quit asking about Solomon Thomas.
Yeah. Well, but on the flip side, I know what people are saying. This guy was a 5-star. This is another 5-star that came over because of Alex Atkins and that relationship. You think he's going to be around 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. What happens if you make changes on offense and Atkins ain't a part of it?
Well, if Atkins isn't a part of it, Solomon
Thomas came here and didn't do anything and leaves.
He's a big man. He's got a lot of potential, and we'll see how that plays out.
Brad David, Mike, what are your thoughts on the new PA announcer in Tiger Stadium? McMakin, I think it's taken some getting used to. I'm not there yet. I think he's got a good voice. Look, man, it's one of those deals where, like, when I was young, the voice of the Tigers was John Ferguson. I never knew that. I didn't pay attention as close as my elders to know how many mistakes he was making. But to me, that was the voice of LSU because that's what I grew up with.
But in the stadium, it was Sid Crocker at that time.
And I loved him.
Now, Sid Crocker was an old guy. That's the one I grew up on. And then, of course, we transitioned over
I love Sid Crocker.
Dan Barnay. And now we got McMakin. So,
yeah, I think it's just going to take time. Dan Barnay is an institution. You've been hearing him do it for years. It's just, you're just going to have to get used to it. And I think over time. He's going to get better, and he'll have his own little quirks and flavor that he throws in as he gets settled in. Give him some time.
Look, I'm not out there. You are, but there were a couple other problems that obviously are going to have to be addressed, and I think it's going to go all the way up to the top of the governor and the state police and all that. And so there's some characters out there that are ruining the daytime experience, and whether it's a shooting or whether it's weed everywhere, they've got to clean that up. Got to clean it up now, because you get that negatively recruited against you if you don't clean that up.
Oh, absolutely. And believe me, the coaches are talking about it.
Yeah.
They are absolutely talking about it. I know for a fact.
So should have more security but you know.
And by the way, if the game is going on, you need to have law enforcement on campus outside of the stadium patrolling the campus. All right.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if it's a stop and frisk situation, but something's got to be done.
I just look, like I said, I don't go to these. I watch them all, and I want to see what LSU looks like with everybody else. But I did have quite a few people tell me that it's changed in the last year or two, and hopefully they'll get that back.
And I brought up on the post-game show, I can't believe when I go down Nicholson Drive and the number of kids walking on the shoulder of the road. You've got that little walkway kind of in the ditch because they're all either trying to get to Fred's and Tigerland. But I see kids walking home to apartments that I know they're probably going to Lee Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no lights for them. No lights at all. And then I saw even some beyond that going like heading towards Bluebonnet all alone. That's how bad things happen. I wouldn't want my child walking out there. City of Baton Rouge needs to line that whole Nicholson Drive with some really bright LEDs for those students after games.
And I think I think the governor is all in on that. I think Sid Edwards is all in on that. And obviously, look, while we're throwing in complaints, you know, people still are griping about contraflow and traffic. So just take your patience pill. If LSU beats Vandy, it's going to be a sold-out, crazy crowd, and you're going to be in your cars an hour after that ball game at A&M, if it's a competitive game, which we all think it will be.
What year was it about that Hawthorne replaced Ferguson? Mid-'80s?
Oh, man.
Early 80s? What year would that have been?
Yeah, probably late. I don't know. No, maybe, mid-'80s. You're probably right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, growing up with him, he gets so mad because John Ferguson would say.
Ferguson had that gravelly voice. I mean, it was that was the voice, man.
Yeah. Well, with Sid Crocker in the old days, Dr. Exchange 3642, please report to the first days. All that coming over.
Yeah.
I've not heard Dixon. I've heard good things about Dixon. I've heard bad things about Dixon.
And the good thing about Dixon, he's young.
He's replacing a legend. Look with Chris Blair replacing Hawthorne. It just takes a while for people to get acclimated. I think he's going to continue to do a good job. But you know what? You're not going to make everybody happy. There's always going to be something.
I mean, a lot of people wanted Bill Francis to get that job.
Yeah, pipes.
Yeah.
But good luck to that young man. And obviously that's something that he's going to earn his stripes through the years.
Gerard Guillory, Mike, if I ask you, I apologize, but is Caleb Jackson transferring? No, he is not. That was an erroneous report. He's not. Look, but I mean, didn't the report say something about how he'd already left the team and wasn't? None of that's true. But is there a chance it'll be in the portal in January? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about the story that's interesting. Okay, if Caleb Jackson, who is not redshirted, if in fact he is going to leave at the end of the year, then he doesn't want to play any more games. He wants to redshirt. So we're going to find out. We'll see if anybody asked BK that. But that was what we call that Twitter rumor that didn't come to fruition.
Yep.
But there could be some smoke there. And you know what? You and I talked about it last time, Mike. So sad. He's got that pass right there. And if he just catches it and turns around, he may have gone in and scored. I mean, he had that much green grass in front of him, drops the football. Got a feel for number 28, Caleb Jackson.
All right, everybody. Baye's Oyster Bar, downtown Baton Rouge. It's the old Jolie Pearl. You know exactly where it's at, but they sunk hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars renovating and a great new menu. I'm telling you, it is the best oysters in Baton Rouge. I know there's another new place in Baton Rouge that comes and goes and can't figure out where they want to survive. Baye's Oyster Bar is the place you want to go. 315 North Boulevard, serving up the freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit, just clean, delicious flavor. If you're not into oysters, you can swap in the boiled shrimp or try their turkey brie and bacon sandwich and even their classic roast beef po' boy. Also featuring a fully stocked bar complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection. Don't miss out on Baton Rouge's newest oyster spot, and make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And Genesis of Lafayette, you see it on your screen, 2.99 APR, 60 months for a GV80 on a 2025, or on the 2026 GV70, 2.99 for 60 months as well. Cannot beat those deals over at Genesis of Lafayette, your premier luxury dealership. Finest cars and SUVs in the region. Check them out at genesisoflafayette.com or call them at 877-856-2961. Jaron Guidry is a sales manager. He and his team will make sure you get exactly the type of quotes and service that you need. Give them an opportunity. There is a reason why they sell more Genesis than any other Genesis dealer in the state of Louisiana. And the GV70 and the GV80 continue to be the best in their class of the luxury SUVs, because the bang for the buck, the best interiors, better than Mercedes, better than BMW. The Genesis is just an outstanding vehicle. All right. Hakeem Batiste, Caleb Jackson might be a better pro running back than a college running back. I still hope he gets a chance, whether it's at LSU or somewhere else. I love Caleb Jackson, love his mom. I want that kid to be successful. But that would be something, buddy, if he got a red shirt and came back for another year. You were talking about guys that
if he redshirts, he'll have 2 more years. So he's a junior. If he doesn't play anymore,
but you would think at this juncture, there's no way in hell he would come back to LSU, because there's time for a new venue. And if he were to come back for another year, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Well, look, it's so sad, because we talked about it. Eddie Fuller and all the guys that we have on run the daylight, not darkness. But the Ole Miss game 2 years ago, he dropped the pass. Then this past time, he dropped a pass that could have been a big play. He just needs a little confidence. And a lot of people want to see him, Mike, utilized inside the 5-yard line. And let's be honest, they got to do a better job. Let's call it like it is. You got first and goal on the 3 or 4, and you hand it off right behind to the running back, and you go boom, nothing, boom, nothing, boom, nothing. How about a little play action and dump off to Power Sharp or Trey Green or whatever? But got to get a little more creative. But it's a shame that we hadn't seen Caleb Jackson run over more people like he did a couple of years ago his freshman year.
Yep.
That was fun. I saw that play. Somebody replayed that play the other day, and I'm going like, damn, we thought he was going to be so good, but he's got to find a way to get out the doghouse and make a play.
It was 1986. Who dat fat man says Ferguson hasn't been the voice of the Tigers since the fall of '86.
Okay, so there you go.
I said mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Hakeem Batiste again. Brad Davis needs to get these hogs up front in step. Too much talent to be this mediocre, especially in the run game. Carius Kern looks like he could be the next highly rated prospect that will anchor. Believe me, they're doing everything they can for Carius Kern to be the guy. He's obviously not doing something in practice that they want, or he would be there. Josh Thompson is taking his lumps, and
Braylon Moore has played, I think, more consistent than anybody.
Yeah.
Tyree Adams has done a good job of replacing Will Campbell. Nobody's Will Campbell. By the way, Will Campbell is playing lights out. I watched every play when New England was on offense against Buffalo. He was fantastic. Didn't give up a sack or hurry or anything. Then, of course, he was in the Superdome as they beat the Saints. And so kudos to Will and the year that he's already having as a rookie. But Mike, I think we all conveniently forget that these are 5 new guys. But guess what? You're talking about week 8. LSU's played 6. They've had an open date. This is week 8. If they're going to gel, you got to start doing it now, this back end. As we know, 4 of the last 6 opponents are top 20 rated teams. And look, A&M is the real deal. Alabama is the real deal. Oklahoma dependent upon John Mateer if he's going to be healthy when he comes back. So you got to start gelling on the offensive line. You just have to.
Yep. Dr. John Sibley Butler, the 1 Minute Blues for Ole Miss. That was a great song about that game.
1 Second Blues.
1 Second Blues.
Yeah.
There you go.
Of course, that was when, in case people don't know, LSU was in the end zone or on the 10-yard line. They throw a pass. It had 4 seconds left. They threw a pass. It took 3 seconds, and so they had 1 second left. Brad Davis catches the pass from Burt Jones. They kicked the PAT and beat him 17-16, and so they came up with the song.
Well, when you and Dr. Butler would go see those games with Harry Ravenhorse coached the basketball team, and they had basketball shorts with belts on them.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look, that'd be funny to do a fashion show of all of the basketball unis throughout the years. Remember those long?
My dad had basketball shorts that had a belt.
He did.
Yeah, and he kept them, and I couldn't believe that. Those things weighed a ton too.
One man's treasure is another man's junk.
Yeah. You remember the LSU fan page? That was me, and I do remember that page. Who that fat man? Don't you live in the Alexandria area, if I'm correct? I remember that. Dane Bergeron, Burt Jones to Brad Davis. I was a kid with my dad in the stadium that day. Hakeem Batiste, Harlan Berry needs his reps up. Juwan Johnson, but Berry is a more natural at the running back position and more explosive too. He is a weapon. I like what Juwan Johnson is doing. It's obvious that Frank is favoring Johnson right now, but I think a year from now, Berry is going to be the guy.
Look, I agree 100%. You've got to get Harlan Berry in space. Look, we saw this during the fall camp. He was about 185 when he came over here. He put on the weight. He's about 190 now, and he's not fearful. He runs hard through as you saw against Ole Miss, he ran, boom, right up, no hesitation, got the end zone. But he's still not a big enough back to 210
He needs to start eating meals with Derek Curiel.
Well, but here's the deal. You got to get him out in space and let him put his foot in the ground and make people miss. I am predicting that Caden Durham is going to get in the end zone this weekend. Maybe he's a morning guy. Last year, LSU plays at 11 o'clock in the morning at Carolina. They're down 17-0. Without that incredible zigzag and run where he dove into the end zone, Frank had to put him back in after that. And so they came back to win that game. Of course, Sellers got hurt, which was one of the reasons they won. But I agree with the viewer. I think Harlan Berry, but I am expecting Caden Durham to get in the end zone. And I am expecting Nuss, this little man, the tidbit, is going to be pointing up to heaven 3 or 4 times this weekend. This is a big game for him to establish the confidence. He's had a lot of trials and tribulations. He's very spiritual. He's got an incredible belief in God and his Jesus Christ, his Savior. And I just think Nuss is going to be set up if they give him time to have his best game of the year. But remember, he's going to be pointing upwards a few times this weekend. Hopefully.
Blaine Smith fired the OC and O-line coach, use money that Kelly buyout would cost, and build the best O-line possible through the portal.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, what do you do with Alex Atkins? Was BK thinking ahead of the box if he's got to move on from Brad Davis?
But then you're asking yourself, why did he get fired in Tallahassee?
Well, because it was a cluster frick with Norvell.
Yeah.
I mean, that place went crazy. Remember, they won undefeated and then got and I thought rightfully so. I hated that they weren't able to play, but when they had all those injuries, especially to Travis, their quarterback, you couldn't put them out in the Final Four. That was not right.
Well, if you're going to make those changes, and there's a long way to go. What if LSU wins out? This is all moot. But we tend to think that there's going to have to be some changes. If one of those changes is a new offensive coordinator, I mean, doesn't that offensive coordinator going to want to have some say about who his offensive line coach is going to be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or do you just say, here's your running backs coach because Frank's untouchable. Here's your wide receiver coach because Cortez has 2 years left on his deal. There's a whole lot of things that we saw Woodward do that with Orgeron that last go-round where he let him make some changes, and it was win or else. And it was basically, yeah, but I'm not giving you all that money. I'm giving you $1,300 and $1.3 million. You got to hire 2 coaches with that money.
But the big question also is he going to?
You're not just going to let him hired $10 million more in new coaches.
But the first thing the OC's got to do is run BK's offense. And I talk about this, and this is one of the big things. I saw it with Nick Saban, and it took a long time for Nick Saban to hand off the offensive car keys and remote control. And he did it with a bunch of people, not only Kiffin and Brian Daboll and Steve Sarkisian and all that. BK is going to have to come to realization one of these days that he's going to have to get a younger guy that comes in and brings in his offense. Right now, BK's still calling what he's called for 30-something years. And so if you get rid of Joe Sloan, you're going to have somebody that's going to come in.
This sounds like Les Miles. This sounds so much like Les Miles.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to admit this. You told the story about Les Miles. You remember the story.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive coordinator's got all this thing, and Les Miles comes in here and rips everything up on Friday and said, this is where we're running.
Yeah.
Right?
Thursday night, I need your game plan in.
Yeah.
And when the OC comes in Friday morning, there's red marks a lot all over it.
Well, look, his name is on the door, but I would love to see. That was Gary Croton, by the way, too. Yeah. I'd love to get an answer, though.
I thought Gary Croton did a good job.
He did that one year. Yeah.
07.
That's right. They won a natty that year. But I'd love to get a true answer from BK on how do you effectively interject what you want called in the speed and flow of the game and not make it look bad on Joe Sloan. Because right now Joe's getting all of the heat, and we don't know if BK's how much involvement he's got there.
All right, you see it on the screen, Capital City Grill, best brunch in Baton Rouge. Get over there on Sunday from 11 to 2. Again, they've got a full menu. Go check it out at capitalcitygrill.net. You'll see the complete menu. And, of course, they're already a great lunch spot Monday through Friday. Great hamburgers, fresh French fries cut in the house, never frozen. The chicken and waffles at the brunch, the Eggs Benedict, and many more things. They've got a traditional breakfast. They've got everything you need at Capital City Grill, 11 to 2. And, again, it's especially this time of year when it's beautiful downtown. It's a great time downtown Baton Rouge, 100 Lafayette Street. And, again, everything priced at $30 or below. Get the carrot cake to go. You've seen the dream cake right there on your screen. Layered Oreos, Snickers, caramel, chocolate, cookies, and cream. I mean, that thing's insane. It'll feed 3 to 4 people. But again, Capital City Grill on Sundays, best brunch spot in town. And anything you want to add before we get out of here?
I'll give you a little mad tidbit. Jamari Butler, one of the 3 defensive end and edge rushers that came in from Nebraska, got a lateral sprain. We'll find out his availability, but I'll tell you what, the Manda spicy tidbit is you put number 7 on the edge, and you put him in the edge rush, and you send Harold Perkins. Now, we know he does a great job of spying on the quarterbacks, but Vanderbilt's only given up 4 sacks all year. They have 18 as a team. LSU has 17.
You also have to worry about that tight end releasing.
16 sacks. What's that?
You got to worry about that tight end releasing that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, right. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm looking to see, I want to see Perkins hunting down Diego Pavia. If he hunts him down, he's got a chance to get physical with him. And then, of course, the other thing, the Manda tidbit, got to get us started. I hope you throw it quick, 2.2 to 2.3 seconds. Get rid of it quickly. Get Aaron Anderson in the end zone. There's going to be a lot of traffic with Trey Green. He's not going to be running free, so you can bring him in motion so they can't ship him at the line of scrimmage. But let's just hope this, and I know you and I talked about this during the year, early in the year, but can we have an enjoyable game to watch? I know coaches say, I don't give a frick what you say about entertainment and all that, but it's been hard to watch on.
I don't know if you're going to get any of those. Just hope for an ugly win.
So you're looking at another ugly one, huh?
I think it's all ugly wins.
All right. I'm looking for pretty win. LSU wins.
But is it a pretty, could it be ugly, but you still win by 10 or more?
Well, hoping that Garrett Nussmeier, people are praying for you. Hang in there. Play with confidence. And, of course, as we know, we never mention this, but special teams, something tells me maybe a little trick play, maybe a little return for a touchdown, but a great opportunity. And once again, the big thing at the start of the game, you don't want to look up 7 minutes left in the first quarter and LSU's down 14-0, 17-3. You got to start quicker because last time they did this at Carolina, they were down 17-0.
All right, everybody. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, follow us. Also, go to our YouTube page, LSU Tigers on TigerBait, and subscribe. And we got a lot coming your way. We got LSU Women's Basketball Media Day tomorrow, and we'll be there with loads of player interviews and talking to some coaches. That'll be a big day tomorrow out there. And we're even going to have some LSU baseball stuff. Of course, they're heading to the White House next week.
Oh, they got the date?
Yep. And so that's going to be really big for Jay Johnson and their chance at the White House as national champion. So a lot coming your way on TigerBait.com. Got a big recruiting update tomorrow. Running back Trey Martin, who got an offer from LSU, and his recent visit. So that'll be on TigerBait in the morning. All right, everybody. Good night.